Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask, Heidi. Today is Wednesday, the third day of May, National Interpreter Appreciation Day today. I always thought that'd be a fun job, but I don't know any languages to interpret. So Heidi knows Pig Latin. That's the only one. Yeah.
And Yoda.
There you go. World Press Freedom Day, National Skilled Trades Day, National Montana Day, National Textiles Day, National Sand Architect Day, National Raspberry Popover Day. That sounds delicious.
It does.
National Bike to School Day, National Chocolate Custard Day. That also sounds delicious.
It does.
Going to have 2 desserts. National Paranormal Day, National 2 Different Colored Shoes Day. You ever do that? Heidi did that once on purpose. One was a high heel and one was a flat.
It was not on purpose.
Yeah, she did it accidentally. National Especially Abled Pets Day, National Garden Meditation Day, and National Lumpy Rug Day.
Well, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to celebrate today. And I'm so excited to have him back on the program. John Michael Higgins. He's an actor.
Love him.
Yeah, he is so funny. And he's the host of Split Second. It's a new game show on GSN. We'll chat with him all about it.
What a year. With prices on everything going up, it's more important than ever to have a better credit card. Some people use a credit card that's not a very good one. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at bettercreditcards.com. Give yourself a little credit. Bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com. According to a report in a medical journal, green tea drinkers may be preventing cancer every time they have a cup of tea. Green tea. Yeah, they say that it's apparently good for you as well as being good. According to a different study, chemicals found in human sweat can spread happiness to people around them. So
I totally disagree with that.
I'm not quite sure where that's coming from, because usually when I'm sweating profusely, everybody around me is not happy.
Everybody kind of scatters.
Like, excuse me, fat man, could you please quit dripping on me? Sorry. And one last report says workers who have a little, nookie, 2 to 3 times a week, rather, earn 4.5% more money, according to a report.
Well, yeah, if you're doing it with the boss.
Well, it's not saying with the boss. It's just saying people who are, more active in that department tend to make more money. So
they're not saying you're working your way up the corporate ladder.
No, draw your own conclusions. Surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com.
Did you know you can allocate a percentage of your IRA to physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover? You can put your IRA back on the gold standard. Genesis Gold IRA is the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. GenesisGoldIRA.com would like to help protect your IRA today with a simple phone call. Learn more and get the phone number at GenesisGoldIRA.com. That's GenesisGoldIRA.com.
Did you know? Brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Heidi, did you know University of Queensland scientists say they figured out why we sometimes forget what we're doing when we walk into a room? Previous studies found that walking through a doorway creates a new episode or event boundary, making it more difficult to recall our purpose. New research determined that passing through doorways that joined identical rooms usually did not impact memory because there was not enough of a change when you're going from one to the other to create an event boundary. It was only when these researchers distracted their volunteers that the doorways between identical rooms affected memory. The team says this falls in line with the theory that it's mostly when we're distracted that we're likely to arrive in a room and go, oh, why did I come in here again?
Yeah, I've done that so many times.
I have too, numerous times. Usually I ask Heidi, I'm like, what was I doing again? And then she's like, it was this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, see, now I remember. All right, we don't know everything, but now we know this. Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com. Twilight is coming to television. Lionsgate TV is in early development. There's a report saying that they're going to adapt the best-selling saga Twilight. So there's not a lot of details out right now, but they say there's working on it. No timeline for the project currently. And the 2001 heist comedy Ocean's 11 remains one of the director's most star-studded affairs, thanks to an ensemble that includes George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Julia Roberts, Don Cheadle. I mean, it's a big
It's a
group.
heck of a lineup, yeah.
But Clooney recently confirmed reports that both Mark Wahlberg and Johnny Depp were approached to also be in that movie. And they both said, no. And there's several people who go, yeah, I probably should have done that. So it was already a star-studded cast. But can you imagine that movie with Mark Wahlberg and Johnny Depp as well?
Crazy.
Yeah, no
It's
kidding.
going to be good.
Gonna be good. This movie came out in 2001, Heidi. Okay. She's clearly not paying attention on that side.
Why did I come in this room again?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you missed the last break, you don't know what we're talking about. Big screen, little screen, brought to you by InsuranceChicken.com.
How much do you pay for your cell phone every month? If it's more than $15, it's time for a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring in your current phone. iPhones and Samsung phones both work well with Mint Mobile. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying, just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Dr. Darsha Sedera, Deputy Dean and Director of the Digital Enterprise Lab at Southern Cross University, says there appears to be, what am I saying? There appears to be a correlation between the number of social media platforms a user uses and the amount of content they store. So how many different social media platforms do you use, Heidi?
One.
Basically just Facebook.
Yeah.
And I use pretty much mainly Facebook, but also sometimes Twitter, sometimes Instagram, LinkedIn as well. I think those are kind of the mains. There might be others. When it comes to this rather new phenomenon, not all generations are affected equally. Gen Xers, which we both happen to be a part of, and millennials are both likely to display symptoms of digital hoarding. But for the younger generation, especially digital natives, it's logical to expect even greater levels of hoarding behavior. I am a digital hoarder, I found out.
I am not.
Heidi deletes everything.
Pretty much.
She get a text message and then deletes it right away. I've never deleted a text message.
I know. We've tried. I've sat with you while they're trying to transfer your information to a new phone.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you come back in 9 hours. I'm like, won't you guys be closed by then? Are you having a hard time making a big decision? Maybe you're trying to negotiate your way through a sticky business problem. Maybe you can't make up your mind about a situation at home, caught between two choices in a personal relationship matter. Well, don't worry. There's a simple 7-word question you can ask yourself, and it's grounded in neuroscience. It can guide you through this indecision, help you overcome analysis paralysis, and lead to better, bolder choices. You ready, Heidi?
I am ready.
Simply ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? That is the question. It's a long explanation on why this works, but in short, when you're faced with indecision, ask yourself, okay, what's the worst that could happen? And then just dive in and do something.
All right.
That's what they say. There's a little more information if you'd like to read it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
InsuranceChicken.com wants to know, how much are you paying for your insurance? I know it seems like a hassle to switch to a different company, but if you can save a few bucks, it's worth crossing the road to InsuranceChicken.com. We have several of the top insurance companies trying to earn your business. They do that by offering great insurance that is cheap. Okay, enough of the silly chicken puns. It's time to get serious about saving you money on your insurance at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday. Our guest today is John Michael Higgins. He is an actor. He's been in a bunch of movies. He's been in a bunch of great TV shows. And he's also now a game show host. He has a show called America Says. We talked to him about that last year. They just celebrated 5 seasons on that one. And now he's got a new show out as well, Split Second. And this is such a fun show to watch. They're both on Game Show Network. And Michael, you do such an amazing job hosting both of them. But I love Split Second.
Oh, I appreciate it, John. Thank you. It's the second show I'm doing for GSN, and it's very different, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I wasn't sure I could do it at first because it moves so fast, and I'm so old, but it turns out to be it's a pretty good fit.
You do an amazing job. And is that like an iPad that you're holding? That thing is huge.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of information they had to cram onto that screen. I had begged them earlier if I could use cards, very old school, because that's the way I remember his game shows.
Yeah.
Who's holding cards. But it turns out that they were right. There's just too much information I need to run the game. And so they gave me a a big iPad.
It
So
is.
maybe I can get it to be smaller. Now that I'm good at running, now that I'm good at the game, maybe it can be smaller.
No, it's really cool. I kind of like that. Now, for folks that haven't had a chance to see Split Second, let's tell them how this show works.
It is a fun game. It's three contestants, and it's a general trivia thing. So I'll ask a question, but it's in three parts. For instance, so let's talk about the Eiffel Tower. Here are the three parts. What city is it in? Who made it? And what's it made out of? And then the three contestants buzz in, and they choose the one that's easiest for them to answer. And the first guy to buzz in gets the first choice, probably the easier one. What city is it in? It would be my guess. And then it bounces around, and if all to the other buzzers. And then if all three of them are correct in the first round, they get 25 points apiece. If only two are correct, they get 50 points apiece. So you see how that works. And if only one is correct, 100 points. So you want to get the easier one first and leave the other people with the hard one. But one man's ceiling is another man's floor. So the hard one might be an easy one for the third person. So it's a great game. It's really well designed, and it's based on an old format that was in the 70s and 80s, which is Monty Hall did.
Yeah.
So it's really time tested, and it's very OG, and it's a lot of fun to play.
And it's fun to watch as well. And when I watch it, I keep thinking I would do well on this because there's three different things, and I typically know at least one of them, maybe two of them. I would have to buzz in quick, so I would get to answer my question, though.
Yeah, it's tricky that way. So if you're set on answering the one about what city is it in, and then suddenly it's taken, and you got to move to another one. You're like, what's it made out of? Iron? Yeah, it is
Chocolate.
iron. All right, so chocolate, exactly. That's what I would guess.
Now, you've got the other program, America Says, 5 seasons that's been on, over 500 episodes to date. And again, you do such a great job on that. Were you kind of nervous to bring on this second game show? Because it's got to be confusing trying to do two different shows.
A little bit, yeah. I was, it's a very different format, and it requires different things of the host. So, in America Says, there's a lot of me moving around a big empty stage and talking to people. I eat 8 different people, and there's a lot of characters up on stage. This one's more of a old-fashioned game show, where it's a general trivia, and it moves very fast. So it's more of a game. At least the way I look at it. But I love games, and it's the reason why I wanted to do a game show in the first place. And actually, I was surprised when they offered me to America Says, because I felt like it's more of a sort of a party than a game.
Yeah.
But the game works well in America Says. There's a timer and everything, so people get nervous. But this one is a much more sort of trivia centered thing, and it feels more like a half Jeopardy type thing.
Absolutely. And it's a kind of game show. When I watch it, I feel like I would do well. So I got to figure out, how do I get on this show?
Google, I want to be a contestant on Split Second, and you'll see right away, there's a website where you can, and I would love to have you on the show.
Well, it would be a lot of fun. Again, Michael Higgins has been our guest. Thank you for your time today, sir. I appreciate it.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me on again. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Again, the original show that we talked about with him last year, 5 seasons out now of America Says, and the new show is called Split Second. They're both on Game Show Network. I've got a link to all the information in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
What a year. With prices on everything going up, it's more important than ever to have a better credit card. Some people use a credit card that's not a very good one. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a card to give you cash back or points and perks, or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at bettercreditcards.com. Give yourself a little credit. Bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The first ever oranges were grown in Southeast Asia, and they were green.
Oh.
So I wonder why they called them oranges if they were green.
Interesting.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Although getting a single tattoo can temporarily weaken your immune system, getting several tattoos over time will strengthen it.
I would happen to agree with
I think that's interesting. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Chicago's nickname, the Windy City, has nothing to do with the weather. It was coined by a journalist who felt the residents were windbags or full of hot air. Wow.
Huh.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The phrase head over heels was originally heels over head, which makes a lot more sense. Head over heels, your head is always over your heels.
Okay.
Your heels would be over your head. That would be a little more unusual. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The dark side of the moon is actually turquoise. How do we know that?
We've been there.
The dark side of the moon? Have we? I've never been there.
Well,
And our final
I've not been there.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The average kid eats 15 pounds of cereal every single year.
Woo.
Yeah, several fun facts. Now you know. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Did you know you can allocate a percentage of your IRA to physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover? You can put your IRA back on the gold standard. Genesis Gold IRA is the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. GenesisGoldIRA.com would like to help protect your IRA today with a simple phone call. Learn more and get the phone number at GenesisGoldIRA.com. That's GenesisGoldIRA.com.
Time now for the Mint Mobile question of the day. It comes your way courtesy of Mintervention.com. Question, Heidi. If you are average, you will have 155 of these in your lifetime. What is it?
Toothbrushes.
I already said the answer to her because I was saying, I was thinking that I don't think we've had that many, because if you go through and factor it, because what am I, 47? I've only had like 7 toothbrushes in my entire life. So, okay, I think I've had more than that. But 155?
That seems like a very large number.
That does. Mint Mobile question of the day comes your way courtesy of Mintervention.com.
How much do you pay for your cell phone every month? If it's more than $15, it's time for a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring in your current phone. iPhones and Samsung phones both work well with Mint Mobile. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying, just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Now, some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. Scientists are still trying to figure out why even the skeptics among us cling to lucky numbers, special game day clothing, and other odd rituals. The appetite for such beliefs appear to be rooted in the circuitry of our brain, and for good reason. The sense of having a special power inspires people in threatening situations, and it helps soothe everyday fears and ward off mental distress. So there you go. I'm not sure why this was my weird news. Does that seem like weird news?
Do you have lucky numbers?
Do I? Mm-hmm. I don't know that I really do.
Do you have favorite numbers that you favor over other numbers?
Yeah, I
you
suppose.
think they're lucky?
There's some that mean something to me, but I don't know if they're lucky numbers, really.
Yeah.
When we would play bingo, there was, I don't remember what the one card was, where you had to pick your own numbers, and I would always kind of pick the same numbers because I thought it was funny. I'd pick 8, 6, 7, 5, 3, and there was no 0, so I'd do 10, and then I would do 9.
Yeah.
So 8, 6, 7, 5, 3, 0, 9. I thought that was funny, and I never won, by the way. So it wasn't a lucky number at all. Weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for the list brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. Bachelor party season is amongst us. We got this happening. We haven't been to a bachelor party or a bachelorette party in a while.
No, we haven't.
Most of our friends have been married for a long time. Some of them 4 or 5 times. Anyway, the 200 biggest U.S. cities, they came up with the best places for bachelor parties and the worst places. So we do the top 5 best places. Houston, Texas is number 5. Number 4 is Las Vegas. I thought for sure that'd be number 1. Number 2 is Los Angeles. Number 3 was Los Angeles. 2 is Miami. Who do you think is number 1 best bachelor party place?
Jeez, I have no idea.
New York.
Really?
Yeah.
I would not think so.
Yeah, and now the 5 worst: Roseville, California, Clarksville, Tennessee, Montgomery, Alabama. I'm not sure why. Number 2, Jackson, Mississippi, and the worst place to have a bachelor party, according to this list, Thornton, Colorado.
I can think of way worse places than any of
too.
those.
I'm not sure how they did this, but I do have the list
know.
in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
InsuranceChicken.com wants to know, how much are you paying for your insurance? I know it seems like a hassle to switch to a different company, but if you can save a few bucks, it's worth crossing the road to InsuranceChicken.com. We have several of the top insurance companies trying to earn your business. They do that by offering great insurance that is cheap. Okay, enough of the silly chicken puns. It's time to get serious about saving you money on your insurance at InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com. JohnandHeidiShow.com.
Time now for the quote of the day. It comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Quote today is from Albert Camus, who says, "Nobody realizes that some people expect tremendous energy merely to be normal." What? Oh. I'm going to do that again. Nobody realizes that some people expend tremendous energy merely to be normal.
Oh, yes. That makes a lot more sense.
It does when I read it right. What did I say the first time? It doesn't matter.
And yes, for some people, it does take a lot of energy to
Just
appear
to try
normal.
to be normal.
Yeah.
Quote of the day comes your way. I apologize, by the way. Courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to JohnandHeidiShow.com. Again, JohnandHeidiShow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. And this, I think, is a pretty cool story. A woman's life was saved by a dog who found a 1 in 22 million donor on a beach. So a pet Doberman sniffed out a perfect kidney donor for its 44-year-old dying owner.
That is amazing.
Yeah, 44-year-old Lucy Humphrey was told she had 5 years to live when the doctors were telling her that, hey, unless you can find a donor, and your odds of finding one, by the way, 1 in 22 million.
Gosh, that's amazing.
She spent years on a wait list until she found her savior by a total coincidence on a beach. She and her partner had taken their dogs, Jake and Indy, to this beach, and they kept running off to a perfect stranger about 100 yards away and wouldn't leave this stranger alone. Indy went over like 3 times, back and forward, and she just kept going around and around this person. Like she wouldn't leave this particular person alone. So they started chatting, and they were eating and drinking and just enjoying life. And Lucy mentioned that she could not drink alcohol. She's on dialysis. She said, she just recently joined the kidney donation registry to make a donation. So this lady's going, I can't drink because I need a kidney. She's like, oh, really? I have a kidney. As it turns out, she was the perfect match, and this dog found her.
That is insane.
Isn't that amazing? She said, we swapped telephone numbers, but I didn't think anything would come of it. As it turns out, the blood test came back, and she was a match. The transplant took place in October of last year. Now these people are fast friends because...
I'm sure.
Yeah. She's like, hey, thanks for saving my life.
So they better be thinking the dog, too.
I hope that dog got a treat out of the deal at least.
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty cool.
Dogs, I say it all the time, dogs are awesome.
They really are. I've got a link to that story if you'd like to read it. It's in the show notes for today at JohnandHeidiShow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great Wednesday. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.